Hello! Do you ever feel like you're living in a world on autopilot? Have you ever been having a conversation where the same arguments are being made over and over until someone drops an experience they've had and suddenly something clicks in your mind and your whole worldview shifts? That is the snap. An almost audible popping sensation in your mind when confronted with a truth counter to everything the society around you would have you believe. It can happen more than once over the course of your life, and once you hear the snap, you will see this new truth everywhere. Behaviors that once seemed confusing start making sense. Assumptions about the way things are start to feel silly or even cruel. You can see problems for what they are and more clearly, and then you can start real change. Welcome to The Snap. We are your hosts, Ruby Red
and Rose Bloom.
We will be guiding you through this journey of the American experience of 2018 and beyond through humor, personal stories, a wide range of topics from pop culture, meme culture, politics, mental health, and more. We want to dive into those topics and issues where heels seem to be pretty dug in and maybe help you hear the snap on a belief you didn't even know you held. Is my hair look okay? You're honest?
When am I not honest?
Never.
Whenever you're ready.
All right.
Yes, absolutely honest. You look gorgeous. You look blessed.
Well,
you look beautiful.
thank you. Welcome back to The Snap. I am your host, Ruby Red.
And I am Rose Bloom.
And thank you so much for all of the support on our first episode. Today we are going to be talking about something a little bit different, shift gears a little bit. But first we wanted to start out with a couple of shout outs. Number one, I want to say happy birthday to my brother-in-law Steven and my brother Jim, whose music you hear on the intro. And you wanted to give a shout out to...
I want to first definitely thank everybody. I want to first thank the We Ain't No Stupids family, podcast family, to be exact. And I would like to extend my thank you to our producer, Zen Master, over there, giving us a raise the roof. That's what we used to call it back in my day. I would like to thank...
It's the same for our day.
Yes, all of our viewers. I can admit when I posted the video this morning, I was very kind of self-conscious, and so far we've gotten great feedback. We've gotten constructive criticism. It hasn't been anything negative. It's really been constructive criticism. So I definitely want to thank everybody who's supporting us right now, and we only have up to go.
Yes.
As far as shout outs, I don't know if you're watching this, if you're going to watch this, but I have to give a shout out to a schoolmate of mine who rode the same bus, Janelle Coates. You are doing the damn thing, girl. She just bought a house. She is 29 years old and she just bought a house. She is the definition of moving in silence. And I'm proud of you. You are goals. You are definitely goals. So
yeah, a house before 30. That's an accomplishment, especially in this age.
Exactly. Shout outs to you, Janelle. Congratulations as well, and happy birthday to your baby.
All right. So today I wanted to talk about what is your news feed feeding you? And more specifically, I'm talking about your Facebook news feed. Facebook has been in the news a lot lately. But first, I wanted to point out the Sinclair Super cut by which was posted by Deadspin, and we will post a link for you in the description below the video. This really... Have you seen this video, Sarah?
Yeah.
If you have not seen it, what it is, someone at Deadspin had noticed that a lot of the local news markets that had been bought up by this company called Sinclair Broadcasting, which is owned by the Mercers, who are some really rich billionaires and political donors, and we'll talk about them some other day maybe. All you need to know is that they are buying up a lot of local news markets, and local news is a place that a lot of people turn to for news that they trust, news that, you know, they know that anchors are living in their local areas. This video is basically a compilation of all of these local anchors in these markets reading the exact same script so succinctly that they were able to layer the videos on top of each other, and it just sounds like a terrifying echo chamber. And what they're pushing is basically they're kind of warning against fake news, but very subtly chipping away at the trust of the major news outlets, major news institutions, and trying to say that they're not doing their legwork.
They're not fact checking.
Right, claiming that they're not checking their facts or their sources, which I come from a family of journalists. I know that that is something they really pride themselves on, is being right. You will not meet a credible journalist who does not want to absolutely make sure that they are right before they start speaking. It's kind of an ego trip thing. But the more that I was thinking about it, or as I was thinking about it, news started breaking about Mark Zuckerberg going to a hearing. Now, if you don't know do you know who Mark Zuckerberg is?
He's Facebook.
Basically, yes. He is the
That's
guy
who
that
you are. You're Facebook.
Yes. So Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook when he was in college. Mark Zuckerberg has been under fire over the last year because Facebook collects a lot of information on you.
Too much information. I did not agree to this.
Did you know that Facebook knows you probably to a better degree than your spouse would know you?
I would believe so. Hell, they probably know me more than I know myself.
I wouldn't doubt it at all. Have you checked your ad categories? That's an entertaining trip. I was checking my ad categories because someone had posted how to do that, and I noticed that it has me. Okay, I'm sorry.
I have checked it.
You have?
Apparently, well, I've checked one part of it. Apparently, I'm very liberal.
Okay. I'm just plain liberal, but I am also African American. Did you know this? I was seeing ads for microblading, which was very confusing to me. I was trying to figure out why all of these ads seem to not quite fit into something that I would probably buy, or
They trying
the
to get
reason
you on
that
with
I
the
would.
culture, honey.
I guess
Because
so.
I'm gonna get you one of these shirts next.
I'm just
next
from
episode.
Woodbridge. I'm just from Woodbridge. I'm not, I'm not really sure how they gleaned that information, but they get that information based on what you click on. Anyway, as you may know, Facebook ads have been kind of at the center of a lot of discussion online and in Washington, D.C. And Then there was a story about a company called Cambridge Analytica, which used that data, supposedly, to target ads to specific people without making it look like an ad, without letting the people know that they were being sold an idea. And people wanted to know how this was possible. I'm going to tie this all back in, I promise. Stay with me. Don't leave. So, Mark Zuckerberg, the creator of Facebook, agreed to do a hearing on Capitol Hill. And he did a hearing before the Senate, and he did a hearing before the House of Representatives. When I was watching that, there are some legitimate questions that could be asked of Mr. Zuckerberg about data. But the questions that were being asked by very old, primarily white men, and it was like your grandmother asking you a question about some new technologies that she definitely doesn't understand. Have you ever had
What's a Facebook?
Right.
Yeah. They call it Faceboard.
Faceboard?
Yes.
I have not heard that.
They be on Faceboard or whatever, Facebook or whatever you call that.
Well, these questions are very obviously from people who grew up in an age that came before the internet, way before the internet. Their concept of Facebook is very clearly the concept of someone that imagines a building where someone is running room to room and following people around and getting, filling out little data sheets on people. That's not how it works. The only thing Mark Zuckerberg has really done is he has figured out how to combine HTML code, which anybody that remembers, please don't tell me you're too young for MySpace.
Hell no.
Okay.
I was living on MySpace, honey.
So, if you remember MySpace.
Let me just ask you, do you remember when we got the codes when we can upgrade from top 8 to like top 24 and top 16? That top 8 was something serious. Even when it got to like top 16. Top 8, if I am not in your top 8, we have a problem.
See, I wound up having enough family members that had it that I could just be like, sorry, they're all family. It is what it is. But I had friends that would be so mad about people not having them in their top 8 or not having their best friend in their top 8, which, do you remember, were you friends with Tom?
Everybody was friends with Tom.
I know some people who deleted Tom, and I felt bad for Tom about that. But anyway, I digress a lot. So anyway, my point about that was the HTML code. You remember having to go to different sites and like code your site so that it would be like have some really cool background. And then Facebook was just this like white and blue and black sheet of stuff. It was very confusing for me. But once I finally transferred over to Facebook, what Mark Zuckerberg did was he figured out how to combine that HTML code that he just kind of left as the template as well as an algorithm. Do you know what an algorithm is? Okay, so it's basically like a math problem. Do you remember doing functions in math?
Oh, God. I went to school almost 10 years ago. I'm just playing, but yeah.
Do you remember how they would tell you, oh, if you put this number in here, this number will come out? Okay, right. So it's kind of like that. That's what an algorithm is. If you click on these types of pictures, this is probably what you're interested in. Have you looked at your news feed lately?
Yes.
How do you view your Facebook?
Now I'm in newsfeed right now.
Okay.
I'm in newsfeed right now because I have something like last time I checked it, it's like 1 minute ago, and then the next one was like 10 hours ago.
So, for those of you who don't know, you can either choose to view Facebook in newsfeed, which is that button on the left side of the bottom. Well, for iPhone users, the left side of the bottom, or you can choose the most recent. I choose the most recent because I don't feel like seeing something that was posted a minute ago and then something that was posted 10 days ago, because we're way past whatever that was. People who are still commenting on that, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not interested. I've already moved on. I'm way too ADD to follow that. So I like seeing what the most recent was. But if you go into newsfeed, a lot of times there's kind of an underlying theme to what you're seeing on your newsfeed. I have some friends, why don't you go ahead and pull that up? I have some friends who look at their newsfeed and they see a whole bunch of political stuff. And then I have some friends who see craft fairs or, college reunions, stuff like that.
This is not what I'm interested in.
I'm not going to read that out loud. It's just inappropriate. Anyway, is that a friend that you communicate with regularly?
Graduated with.
Okay. So your news feed will often be people that you interact with the most. We're not reading it. We are not. You know who you are just by the way that we're laughing right now. Whoever you are.
They don't care. That's the problem.
I'm just giving them my face.
You have to know you don't care if you post something like that. It's a tragedy.
That's true. Okay.
It's more of that on that person's page as well, just to let you know.
So your news feed will be the people that you interact with the most, or the types of posts that you interact with the most.
It must be like an inner demon. I like nothing from this person.
I'm not going to ask any questions about why that's appearing if you don't.
We'll talk later.
Okay. Good stuff. So all of these people, to circle back to my point here, the problem is all these old people in the Senate and in Congress are asking questions that Mark Zuckerberg is clearly getting very frustrated with. And as someone who is Mark Zuckerberg's age, he's as old as I am, I can understand his frustration. There's no way that I could come up with whatever algorithms he's figured out. That's a different kind of brain mechanism. But I can understand people asking you questions. Have you ever been asked questions about something and the questions that you're being asked are so far off topic, and then when you try to answer, they're like, no, just give me a yes or no. And you're like...
And I'm also a person that asks those questions as well. I have to be honest. I am. I do it all the time.
We'll touch on that another time. So, I don't have time for that today. So, what the questions should be. They're asking questions about whether the employees at Facebook have biases and if those biases are causing some pages to not be seen or some information to not be seen or some news sources to not be seen. And my frustration, I really want to get in on this. The problem is not what news sources. Whatever you click on, you're going to see more of it. And that is because the whole premise of the algorithm is based on what you want to see. What Mark Zuckerberg is really good at is figuring out what people want to see. Facebook is different for every single person that uses it. I don't know how many things I'm going to see like you're seeing. I will
Hopefully
see
none.
Oh. The problem is when you go out in the real world, do you see whatever you want to see?
I see everything I don't want to see.
The world kind of just smacks you in the face, right?
It really does. You have to. I think that's why they created that. Go with the flow, live life one day. Do things. Well, take it one day at a time. That's what it is. Take it one day at a time because it is thrown at you.
Hmm. But life is all around you. You're not going to be able to mute that person that's going off on some, like when I'm sitting in the doctor's office waiting area and I am hearing these old ladies talking about stuff that they're seeing online, and all I can think is, you really don't know how to internet, or you really don't know how to, I don't know.
That's because they're on Facebook instead of Facebook. We don't know how that works. So that's what they're looking at online.
When you walk out into the world, you're going to come into contact with all kinds of people, right?
Correct.
Now, on your Facebook, it's just who you choose to interact with.
Correct.
Okay. Have you ever looked at your friends list? Like, just sat and looked at who you're friends with or whatever?
When I'm on a deleting spree, yes.
When you're on a deleting spree.
Absolutely.
All right. So here's one thing that I noticed a couple years back. I would notice people sharing things that really seemed to be coming from a place where they could only be saying or sharing the thought that they were sharing if they had never come into contact with anyone that didn't look like them. Like out in the middle of nowhere, you know, like you wouldn't say that if you had actually ever interacted with a refugee or someone from another country or, you know, someone of a different race. You wouldn't say that if you knew more than 5 people. So I tested this theory and I went and I would go and I'd look at people's friends list, just, you know, being a creeper. Sorry.
We all do it. I do it. I'm the FBI.
I would notice some common things among these people. A lot of times my assumptions would be kind of on target for what their friends list might look like. My friends list, I have lived in a lot of other places. I have spent a majority of my coming of age years in an extremely diverse area. So my friends list has a lot of different types of people, a lot of different types of worldviews. I see a little bit of everything. I see things that are in different languages. I see memes that are specific to people who are into some types of music, some types of TV, all kinds of things, all kinds of opinions. Who do you see the most in your feed? Are they like family or friends, or is it kind of mixed? Or
I have to say I mostly see classmates. We graduated together. Of course, we have tag pictures together from back when we graduated from prom and from everything else. So I mostly see classmates.
mm-hmm.
I don't have many Virginia friends, so I don't see you guys a lot. Family, I don't really deal with them like that, so I don't see them a lot. And this is me being honest. Don't be offended. It's the truth. I don't talk to you. And yeah, so it's mostly classmates.
Okay.
It's nice to see them, some of them.
I think I used to see a lot of classmates early on. I still see some classmates. I see a lot more people that I've met in the places that I've lived in the last 6 years or so. So that's going to be and those are the views that have like kind of caused like a pop for me. I'll see the things that they posted and I'm like, I didn't think people actually believed this stuff. I thought this was a cartoon character, or I thought this was a mythical creature somewhere out in the wild. And it blew my mind the first time that I encountered someone that would share something that seemed either so off base or so on target for something that I hadn't even considered. But I find myself having to actively look at their posts, seek out those posts, seek out those different viewpoints in order to keep the way the algorithm is set up to show me what I feel I need to see. I need to see all sides of an issue before I make an opinion most of the time. I mean, there's some sides. Can we just agree that there are some sides that are just wrong?
Yeah,
they're just
you're
wrong.
just not taking them.
But I try to see how they get there. Sometimes when I see an idea that is so counter to what I'm used to, I have to go and see where that person is getting that idea from, where they're pulling it from. And I'll go and I'll look at other things that they shared, or I'll try and figure out, I'll talk to them about what their life experience has been that brought them to that point. And sometimes I can see where life has brought them to that point. But you have to actively seek that out. And the problem with Facebook is their algorithm is going to show you what you interact with most. And most people are...
Well, they don't have mine correct. Based off of what we just seen, they don't have mine correct. I don't interact with that.
Mine either. We were having some problems with me. Anyway, so I don't think mine is that accurate. My husband's isn't all that accurate either, though. But his has him pegged as a conservative, but he has a lot of friends from Texas. He has a lot of friends in the military, and he has a lot of friends that are, guys, to be honest. And, so that's going to be his dominant viewpoint. And that's where the problem comes in, is when you have people that are on Facebook and they're in an area where there isn't a lot of diversity. There's not a lot of differing opinions. There's not a lot of options for seeking out different content unless you really, really work for it. And that kind of puts us into bubbles. And I think that is where these hearings should have gone. These hearings are trying to talk about whether Facebook should be regulated or not. Because, a lot of it stems from how the election turned out, to be honest. But a lot of that, and people are trying to understand how ads could possibly influence someone. I'm sorry.
No.
That's okay.
You know the reason why.
I know. So, have you ever muted or blocked someone with a differing viewpoint from you?
No, because I feel like everybody, no matter what, everybody's going to have their own opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And
you still have to interact with those people.
Yeah, like if I don't interact with you on Facebook, I'm going to have to interact with somebody at my job or just out in public. So why would I lied. I have unfollowed somebody but not unfriended them. This person that I showed you, actually they had a different Facebook account and I unfollowed them so I could no longer ever again see them in my news feed. And I don't really think of them, so I never really visited their page. That's like the only person though. But anybody with different political views to me, different religious views to me, different parenting views than me, no, because the world is a variety. And if you think everybody is going to agree with you, or if you want everybody to agree with you, you are a fool. The world
you can't sanitize what you see outside of Facebook. I mean, sure, your Facebook is your own. You can do whatever you want with your Facebook. Just know that I find that leaves that people that do delete people over disagreeing with whatever they post. Now there are levels. There is a certain level that I will. That's it. I can't. But it's got to be bad and it's got to be extreme and it's got to be actively harmful to other people, knowingly actively harmful to other people for me to decide not to follow someone or that I need to remove this person from my viewpoint at all costs. And it has to be somebody that I'm not going to see regularly.
Did you?
That's kind of a lie.
Did you block them?
No.
Oh, okay. Did you delete them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's it.
But honestly, okay, so we're alluding to something. Charlottesville, that whole incident, some of the stuff that was posted afterwards, there were comments that were posted on my personal page, a post that I had made, and I have too many friends that fall into the crosshairs of what that person was arguing for, and that argument was not okay. So
Shit, we gotta be open and honest.
Okay.
Because we can't.
You know
this
what?
is us sheltering, and why are we doing this? This is the thing, to give our opinions.
Okay.
Everybody, that's what I was saying. Everybody is entitled to their opinions. When they post what they posted, that's how they felt. So we can say whatever it is that we feel. Because I'm going to say however I feel. And that's why I don't delete or block people. Because just like I have to see your shit, you're going to see mine. And if you want to argue, this is kind of contradicting myself, or this is a little hypocritical, but you know, I'm not a confrontational person, but if you want to argue, we can.
That's true. I try to make sure that whatever arguments I'm having, I'm at least getting something out of it. And whatever it was that was being discussed at that time about Charlottesville was really, I mean, at that time it was very raw. And it was, I don't know that this person was actively trying to be harmful in what they said, or even knowingly being harmful in what they said. But at that point, I didn't want anybody thinking that I was agreeing.
I wouldn't say that they were trying to, they were actively. It is just them, their belief system. Mm-hmm. It's just what they believe in. Who's to say that what we believe in, we're not being harmful? So it's just your opinion. It's what you think. You have thoughts every day, thoughts about all types of random stuff. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was actively hurtful or it was hurtful in any type of way. It's how you perceived it. Maybe you were hurt by it, but I don't think he put it out there. You took it personal.
Yeah, and I think it was the road I could see the conversation going down. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a productive road. And at that time, nothing nice was going to, I was not going to respond in any kind of polite, thoughtful, or rational way at the point that it had gotten.
Sometimes you got to get nasty and dirty.
I like to have people still want to listen to what I have to say. And I feel like if I get too, if I go too far with calling someone out on something, I feel like there's a point where they're just going to shut down and not hear what I'm going to say. And that's where I feel like I had gotten to. Anything that I had responded to was going to make my day-to-day after that not kosher. Because this would have been a person that I had to regularly interact with.
See, that's where you're different.
I can keep copacetic now.
See, we're different there because even at my job, my old manager, she just left about 2 weeks ago. We would get into it bad. Like, I remember I hard down cursed her out one day. And when I clocked out, I was like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. Like, get over it. Everybody's butt hurt about everything. Just get over it. We had a disagreement, and that's the way that I see it.
I had a friend at my first job where her mother was our manager, and her mother could never understand how we would get into it with each other at work. But then we'd be like, so I'll see you at the movie later, right? And her mom would be like,
yeah, it's
what
just get over it. Don't be butthurt about it. Like, I think people aren't fair. Like, you want to get your opinion out there, but you don't want to hear anybody else's opinion.
I feel like for the most part, that's not true about me.
No, not you, but I'm saying that person. So that's why I think that you took it personal because you were going to take it there. And like you say, you want people to be able to want to listen to you.
This is true. So, and in that way, I want to bring this back to the Sinclair thing. So the Sinclair broadcasting really bothers me because it's an outside entity that is trying to get into people's homes and get their message out through the people that they trust, which is very... that just feels icky to me. Like it would be like having a teacher. There are some things I could say, but that would be a whole nother topic for another day. It would be like, bad parallel. It would be like a teacher, a trusted entity telling you the wrong information or causing you to mistrust your parents or something that you hold as a trustworthy institution in your life. But the way Facebook's algorithms are set up, are we already doing this to ourselves a little bit? Are we already putting ourselves in a bubble and feeding ourselves a script based on what we like? And I think that's the real problem with Facebook that needs to be adjusted. Their algorithm is based on a premise of showing you what you want to see in the world, what you like to see.
It's what you like to see. Because me, I want to see variety, and I want to see a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good way to have like a good perspective on reality, a good grasp on reality. Because if you're just seeing the same voices,
yeah, I mean,
or the same ideas bouncing back at you.
If you're giving me what I really want, you can, hey, Sarah, every day, here's a new check. Here's a new check. Here's a new check. If this is what we're doing, this is what I really want to see. But
if it were real life?
Yeah. Like, because you said, are we
but
doing
we can't do that in real life.
Right. So.
But we're doing that in our opinions on what we look at every day. Because I am always on Facebook.
I've when I took my break, I'm not dependent on it anymore. So it's like
I have a family member that did that, but like for almost 2 years.
Yeah, it's like a meh.
Yeah.
You see, I don't post a lot. I'm on there for you and my bestie, Erica. Hey, baby. I love you, girl. But yeah, I'm on
there because it's a great tool for military spouses, especially when you're like stationed around the world. You need that, especially if you're in another country where they don't speak the same language. You need that support network, or when they're all in their own bubbles.
Well, you know the type of person that I am, so.
I do.
I hate to say it, but I am an introvert in a way.
There's nothing wrong with being an introvert. I'm very introverted, but I do like knowing things about. That's creepy. Anyway, so I think where these hearings need to go, and really where society in general needs to go, is being a lot more actively engaged in seeking out differences of opinion. And they're talking about regulating Facebook, and I think the way that that conversation needs to go in the direction is somehow finding a way to make that algorithm more based on a sense of reality rather than likes. Because that's how all the data is collected. If you like a picture of something and these other people like that picture, they're gonna feed you things that other people that you're friends with have liked that also liked that picture. And then you're gonna see it's like you're just in this
bubble. But that's the thing. Are you liking stuff that you don't want to see? No. So that's why they're feeding it to you. Because
no, but I go and I search it out. I'll go and search out, whatever the argument of the day is. There's always, what y'all mad about today. There's always that aspect of it. And whatever that argument is, I like knowing both sides of that coin. I will actively go and see what the other side of the argument is, because I want my argument to be better than that argument. Or see if my argument is just completely out of line.
Or see if maybe you and someone can compromise and you can understand their opinion or their argument. Mm-hmm. People don't try to do that. People just want to argue their point and get their point across. But nobody's compromising. So, okay. I get what you're saying. Mm-hmm. You actually go, but not everybody. Everyone's not doing their research like you. See, that's the thing.
No, but do your research is also another tricky one. Because you're doing your research, but you're doing it within the algorithm. I mean, Google has an algorithm too. If you go on Google, it will give you the top search hits of what it thinks you're probably looking for.
This is true.
So
this is definitely true.
That's where we need to look. Don't try to find a math problem for what I want. Find a math problem for what people need. If you're looking through your timeline and all you're seeing is the same kind of message over and over again, don't let yourself be fooled into thinking, well, this is how society is now. Because if you're clicking on articles about teens eating Tide Pods, eventually
and they
you're
say
going
we're
to
stupid millennials.
So if you click on those links, you're going to see a lot more articles about it, and it's going to sound louder and louder and louder. That's exactly what I'm talking about. What if there's just a handful of people doing that, and the ones that are clicking on it are just making it louder and louder and louder?
Shares and likes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable.
Because these are the same kids that are organizing an entire generation to march within weeks. Same people.
But they're eating Tide Pods as well.
It's whatever is being amplified. So choose what you're going to amplify. And I think that's all I've got for today.
All right, y'all.
Thank you for watching. Click like, subscribe.
Follow We Ain't No Stupids. Go ahead and press the little bell that's on YouTube so you can get all the updates. Whenever we post a video, whenever they post a video, whenever they post videos of us, just like, subscribe, give us feedback. What do you want to hear? Give us some things to talk about. What is on your mind? What is on your Facebook feed?
What's on your Facebook feed? What are you thinking about right now? You can follow us on Twitter at the Snap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram, the same, at the Snap Podcast. You can find our YouTube clips at the We Ain't No Stupids Facebook page. You can find us on YouTube on the We Ain't No Stupids YouTube page. Thank you.
y'all to open up your minds. As version years are revealed to reality, realize what you now see is not what you have always known to be truth. Most blow my kind off for a kook. Those who take the time to listen might start to think the way we do. Never trust a politician for a fucking thing. Never put faith in anyone when you can see their puppet strings. The world's ruled by liars, always has been. Leaders taught since birth to keep the masses immersed in madness. Project the young minds what is and isn't accepted. Any resistance to the system will get you a prison sentence. Sell tobacco and alcohol but won't legalize weed, and try to lock people up like a mortal technique. Those who teach it the evil tactics speak revolution against political structure so corrupt that it's useless. Some people choose not to see what the truth is and force a blind eye when shown where the proof is. This is thinking music. This is thinking music. This is thinking music. Do everything you know. This is thinking music. Some people will live and die for a sword that they know nothing about. To them, patriotism's unconditional. Its appeal is empowering. Fighting for what you believe isn't wrong. But instead of using violence, I put combat in a song. Packing the bomb, practicing calm, passing along information, knowing that these people are bound to catch on. The movement started, is well charted by the internet. So place bets, cause life is a gamble on a train for dreams, overseen by demons and henchmen with greedy desires and an infinite means to clench them. Blind faith in another is the key to self-destruction. Getting out's almost impossible when you're caught in the web of seduction. Learn to learn your lessons from those who learn the hard way, just so you know that twist of fate is never far away. Every person has their own part to play. You just have to open up your mind, so let it start today. Thinking music. This is thinking music. This is thinking music. Do everything you know. This is thinking music. So inconceivably we seem to be easily weasel, greased through the gears of the system. The tears are persistent, resistance necessary to wage against this violent machine. Every second of the essence, mind power is a valuable thing. So long I spent sitting alone, honing the craft, mind eyeing through every line, fine combing the draft. Today's rationality becomes a thing of the past, realizing your entire life's been lived inside of a cast. Strange how we've come so far with technology, yet our conscience remains nowhere close to where it ought to be. All we know is how to destroy each other, manipulate situations to exploit each other. The world faced to darkness, lost to this arms race between spades and hearts. Play your card, make your mark, face the harsh realities of the cataclysm that we live in. The last challenge for civilization's coming to grips with itself. We're at the point of no return in these times so twisted. The only ones who will make it are the wise and the wicked. Scripted crippling of intelligence, suppressing the gifted. Million tons of bullshit for every ounce of truth sifted. Every moment in history has a story to tell. We just by the side that they write and decided to sell. This plane is fucked up and all of the critics are outcast. Earth drowning in tears inside a smiling clown mask. This is thinking music.